that will be about economic leverages and empowerment. And very delighted to bring momentarily to the screen Dr. Lucy Ndegwa, who will be Ndegwa Mackenzie, who will be talking on behalf of the Kenya North America Diaspora SACCO. We'll also be joined by Ralph Kilondo, Honorable Secretary of the Kenya U.S. Diaspora SACCO. Also on the panel, there is Lawrence Mariah. Lawrence Mariah is also Executive Director of the African Welfare Association, and also joining on set momentarily as well is Mrs. Mary Ann Conte, who is also interim chair of the Kenya North America Diaspora. These two will be talking to us about why it's important for us to work together towards empowering ourselves economically and beyond. Later on the show, we're also going to have a conversation with some of African members of our African community here in the state of Minnesota, and they'll be talking to us about COVID-19. Right now, very happy to bring on the screen the panelists. Okay. There's a lag. I think there's a lag on my end, but we'll work on the technical side of it. Very happy to have you. If you don't mind, guys, good to have you on the show. Let's go very quickly. Have yourself introduce yourself, and let's begin with you, Dr. Lucy Ndegwa. If you could introduce yourself, and if you could also, what organization you represent.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Onkari, and thank you for inviting us to this forum. My name is Dr. Lucy Mackenzie. I am the chair of Kenya North America Diaspora SACCO, famously and fondly known as KNADS. We are an organization of over 1,500 women. I am a healthcare administrator with over 25 years of healthcare experience. I am also the CEO and founder of iCare Operations, which is a nonprofit organization that has served the homeless in Dallas and Collin County since 2009. I am very happy to be on this show to represent KNADS. Thank you.
Okay, very much appreciated, Dr. Lucy. Welcome to the show. I also welcome to the panel, Ralph Kilondo.
Thank you so much, Dr. for this warm welcome. I'm actually very privileged to be here with my panelists. Yes, my name is Ralph Kilondo. I'm a businessman. I do transportation in the city of Atlanta. I've been doing that for more than 20 years. That's the anchor baby that I've always depended on to do all the other things that I normally do. I'm also a co-founder of the Kenya USA Diaspora SACCO. It's been in existence for almost 9 years now. Again, the thing is that being one of the biggest avenues we do have, we've made a big change in what we're trying to do on behalf of our members in Kenya. I'm also involved in a lot of philanthropic work. I am also a farmer at home in Kenya while I'm still resident in the US. Otherwise, I'm privileged to be here. Probably before I hand over to the next person, I want to offer my condolences also to the man who registered our SACCO, the Honorable Jeremiah Nyaga, who was actually laid to rest yesterday. He was very instrumental in the formation of the Diaspora SACCO. So we really want to honor him and his family for the things that he's actually done in creating Diaspora SACCOs globally. Thank you.
Thank you. Very nice to have you, Ralph. Obviously, great to have you on the show. And I think the panels and the entire KDRTV and One Voice Consortium join you in extending our condolences to the Nyaga family. I think its contribution, not just to the SACCO, but the nation of Kenya, is highly appreciated. So again, condolences to them. So next on the screen, I want to bring in Lawrence Mariah. Also, Lawrence, introduce yourself, please.
Thank you, Dr. Good morning to everyone in the US, and good evening to those watching in East Africa and other places. My name is Lawrence Mariah. I'm the Executive Director of the Africa Welfare Association. We are a diaspora repatriation firm, and we also do healthcare with a sister company known as FrontPoint. I'm also following in the footsteps of Ralph in trying to help the less fortunate back in Africa.
Okay, thank you. Great work. I'm sure it's going to be a fascinating conversation around what you do. Many thanks. Also on the screen also is Mary Ann. I want to make sure I get that correct. Mary Ann Guncy. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yes, my name is Mary Ann Getz. I know that's a difficult name for some people to pronounce because of just the way it's written. So it's pronounced as Getz. I'm an entrepreneur in the health and wellness industry. I lived in North Carolina for almost 20 years, 18 of which I have run Ausima Springs Wellness Center, which is a healthcare and wellness setup. But I'm currently now in Florida. I'm married to my husband, Stephen, and between us, we have 7 children and 2 grandchildren. My passion, both before I left Kenya and here in the United States, is in women empowerment and also communities, or especially in the social and economic ventures. I am a co-founder member of KNAT SACCO, where I serve as the honorary secretary of the board. And I am also the interim chair for the KNAT PLC, which is the investment arm of KNAT SACCO. It is only open to KNAT SACCO members, and it's an optional membership. Thank you so much for having me here, and I look forward to a great conversation with these wonderful colleagues of mine in this economic world.
Okay, very good. Nice. Go ahead. So it's nice to have you all. But first, before I get back to you in a moment, Mary Ann, you're going to start the conversation here. I want to thank you, obviously, on behalf of KDRTV and One Voice Consortium, for not just coming on the show, but for what you're doing for our community. I think that's important. I know we've been talking about a lot of problems within our community, but I think it's also important to highlight the positives, and that's part of what you've been doing for us. And I think what you're going to do today is to send a very powerful message to the community that regardless of the challenges, we can do good things if we work together. So, Mary Ann, I'm going to get back to you so that you can start off this conversation. If you could share with our viewers, what are the key objectives of your organization?
Well, KNAT's PLC main mission is to identify investment products and services for individual and collective ownership and use for our shareholders. Collectively, we invest our shareholders' funds in viable and lucrative vehicles to maximize returns and dividends. Individually, we introduce professionally researched and vetted vendors and their products to our shareholders for personal purchase, saving them the hassle and pain of carrying out these tedious and sometimes frustrating processes in carrying out due diligence from this far away in the United States. Our vision is to become the top-notch and most trusted investment company for Kenyan women in the North America diaspora, and that includes Canada as well. There are 23 countries in North America, and Canada, Jamaica, Mexico, and some of those countries in the islands are also part of the American diaspora. KNAT PLC is open to all members of KNAT SACCO. However, it's an optional shareholding venture. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary Ann. And I know you work very closely with Dr. Lucy. Dr. Lucy, do you want to add on to the same?
And KNAT SACCO was founded in 2017 is when we opened the membership. To mobilize and connect the diaspora women through reliable collective savings and making this accessible to our members for profitable investment opportunities. We also empower women through educational opportunities on financial matters and how to invest in Kenya, as well as utilize technology for maximum growth of our organization. We collaborate with partners and stakeholders that are going to be beneficial to all our members. But most of all, we want to create positive change and impact the community in which we are in.
Okay. Well, thank you for that addition. We have some lagging there, but we'll work on that from the technical side of it. So let me bring in Lawrence Muriah as well. For Lawrence, and I know you do a great work, and I think that's a part of where most of our people are really very interested in. If you could as well, give us the key objectives of your organization.
Association is a pioneer provider of repatriation services. It is geared towards the African diaspora, not just Kenyan. And we came in because there was a problem whenever we lose a loved one in the diaspora. The cost of repatriation is very high. So we came up with this association with certain objectives, being that we wanted to educate people. We wanted to have a product that was sustainable, affordable, and also reliable. If I may, I can tell you that Kenyans in North America alone spend over $4 million taking care of their loved ones when they pass on. And this is a very high cost. It has to be met, but we came up with a much more efficient and affordable way to meet that need. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Lawrence. I think that's interesting. We'll get into the details of what you do. And again, like I said, people really appreciate to hear what you do. So also, Ralph, we're going to bring you on as well. Give us your take. What are the key objectives of what you do?
Well, actually, we have been there for a while, and we have been able to help our members accumulate wealth over the period of time that we've been in existence. We have also helped our members realize investing dreams, from property ownership in Kenya, even here in the US, educational activities, and building funds towards their retirement benefits, and a lot of those. We also are keyed towards having meaningful economic growth and development of Kenya. We also help educate our members on investment processes through affiliations between partners that we have worked very, very closely with, and also, like is consistent with Diaspora SACCOs. Our best thing and the opportunities that we do have is to make sure that we ensure that our members do not lose resources which are so hardly earned here, and make sure that they actually serve the purpose that has been intended for back in Kenya. So it's overall creating a better economic space for our members and Kenya as a country. Because again, when you look at what has actually happened so far over the period of time, we can say that we've really contributed immensely towards that agenda. The list is endless, but I think that suffices for now. Thank you.
Sounds good, Ralph. Thank you. Let me stick with you, Ralph, for a moment, and I think for the rest of the panelists as well. I think it's important to underscore, or rather, before I get to that point, I want to remind those who are viewing this right now, if you have any questions, please feel free to go to our Facebook page, KDRTV, on the comment section. Post your question, then we'll be happy to share those with the panelists later on the show. As well, on Twitter, you can follow us at KDRTV Live. Post the question there. We'll have those questions answered by the panelists later. So, panelists, the key point to say here for us here at KDRTV, the goal is really to drive a positive diaspora narrative. And again, as you talk about the membership within your organizations, you're also thinking about others who might be interested in joining your organization. So, if you could, Ralph, beginning with you, share with our viewers why they should care about joining your organization or another organization for that matter.
I think I'm also very happy to have the forum here with my co-hosts here. I think each of them represents a very significant constituent of the people who are doing wonderful things in the diaspora here. But why should an African immigrant, especially those from Kenya, care about KUDS? Kenya USA Diaspora SACCO is a member-owned institution. It has a face of Kenya. It takes part in developments of activities throughout the country. It is an organization that is owned. You become a member by buying that one share. That gives you the power to make decisions as high up as the board level where I sit. You can also be a board member, and then with it, you are able to partake in the meaningful discussion of enabling our community here succeed in investing without even leaving their confines in the US or any other country for that matter. The larger narrative is that Kenya USA Diaspora SACCO, when it was formed, there was also the discussion that we were going to morph up at some point and develop ourselves and see whether we can actually end up becoming a diaspora bank. We are having very serious discussions on that with the private sector and people in the co-government areas, together with the Kenya Diaspora Council of Elders. I think sometime last year, at the confines of UNGA, the United Nations Summit in New York, our stars to lead that initiative, because we have discovered that we have a lot of projects that are Kenyan owned that need financing. So we are working on that narrative. And that's why I'm bringing it up now, so that they know that at some point we're going to run to all of them and ask them to become shareholders, both institutionally and individually, so that we can actually become partners in developing Kenya, where you can even assist the government in Kenya develop its its programs out there. There's also another narrative where we are discussing with some partners in trying to see how we can morph and also develop a credit union. Those are discussions that are ongoing, and we cannot do this without our partners, without our friends in this panel. We cannot do this without the church in the US and elsewhere, or any place where we have somebody called a Kenyan who lives out here. And the reason I'm talking about a Kenyan for this matter, it's because some of us are governed by the laws of Kenya under the Cooperative Act. So you must be a Kenyan to partake in some of these, unless now we morph out and do get other products that will involve partners and do other things beyond. But yeah, it's important. People pay close attention, because it's very, very rare to find a Kenyan institution that is domiciled and brought up and bred here, that is actually providing services to our Kenyan brothers and sisters from the diaspora without losing a coin. We belong to the community, so the community needs to embrace all we are doing, so that we can all hold hands together and make our economic activities and the country that we so love out there much more better than how it is. Thank you.
Oh, sounds good. Thank you. Thank you, Ralph, for that eloquent presentation. So, and then I want to bring in the ladies, if you could also share your what do you think. And as you do so, let me highlight the fact that recent research is showing that amongst the African immigrants, that women seem to be doing extremely well in terms of owning and really growing businesses. So really, that's a huge appreciation for what the two of you are doing. And I think as you talk, I think it's a powerful message to our sisters, that they too can do business and really help our immigrant community go far than where we are at the moment. So let me bring in Dr. Lucy Ndego Mackenzie. So if you could as well share with our viewers, why should people really care about what you do, and also consider that we do also have friends of Kenya who might also want to be part of the conversation.
Okay, thank you so much. And it is such an honor to actually be here with Ralph of KUDS. This is a huge milestone in terms of showing collaboration, and we serve the same diaspora. As a woman, we are providing a platform where they are able to invest their money securely. And like many diasporans, we have seen a lot of people who have lost money due to getting into ventures that are not well structured or well vetted. So why an African woman? And in this case, I'm talking about a Kenyan woman who is residing in North America. Why would you care about KNUTs? Because we are structured, we bring vetted products, and we also understand the market in which we serve. We also understand the challenges that women face because KNUTs is predominantly a women-only circle. And so we believe that women have special requirements. And even when you look at the SDGs, number 5, it shows about gender inequality. And so KNUTs is presenting itself and positioning itself to be able to meet that gender inequality when it comes to wealth creation. As we all know, only 13% of all arable land in the world is owned by women, yet 60% of the people who work on the land are women. So KNUTs is providing an opportunity for women to actually become landowners, and we have seen an increase in members owning land even for the first time in Kenya, and investing in properties, not necessarily just land. They're investing in apartments and building houses. And these are some of the first time investors. So KNUTs has provided that platform for them. So as an African or a Kenyan who is living in one of the 23 North American countries, KNUTs is a solution for you to consider when it comes to investing back home, as well as investing back here, because we now do have our KNUTs PLC, that is our investment arm for KNADS. Thank you.
Much appreciation for what the two of you are doing. I think you're sending a good message. In addition to that,
maybe I can chime in a little bit and
Mary Ann,
thank
do we have Mary Ann?
Yes, I think we are having a little bit of a timeline, I believe. Yes, just to add on to what my colleague, Dr. Lucy Mackenzie, who is our chair in the KNAD Circle, I want to say that as a group in the KNAD PLC, which, like I said before, is the baby of KNAD Circle, it's as an optional venture. We have demonstrated that it is a well-organized and focused investment group. We carry out extensive and intensive due diligence on every potential vendor and their product before we introduce them to our market, which, like we said earlier, is predominantly diaspora Kenyan women. Since our inception in 2019, we have demonstrated that it is possible for diaspora communities to venture into big projects individually and also collectively. And this is facilitated by the provision of loans from our circles. So, because to be a member of the PLC, you have to be a member of the circle, which provides the credit facility to the women members of our organization. It is important to potential vendors out there to know that we, as KNADS PLC, have a ready market for your products as long as you are ready to go through our rigorous due diligence process. We don't take any shortcuts when we are doing our due diligence. To the Kenyan woman in North America diaspora, KNAD PLC brings you the vehicle through which you are able to invest worry-free without thinking of being defrauded of your hard-earned money. We welcome you to join KNAD Circle and then join KNAD PLC to take advantage of these great opportunities to grow wealth for yourself, for generations to come.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you, Mary Ann. And I want to bring also Lawrence. I think you also uniquely placed. I think there's so many organizations, and you talk about African Welfare Association. If you could, what does it really African entail here? Does it really mean African, the Kenyan, African from the Sub-Saharan African region, or anybody who looks and sounds like us? What does that really entail? And if you could also share with us why you think people should really be part of the organization.
Thank you, Dr. Ari. Before I go into that, let's allow me to talk about the statistics that you quoted there, that the African women in the diaspora seem to be doing better. I couldn't agree with you more, but I've come to realize that is natural, what they're doing. And I'm very proud of my two sisters here on the panel. I'll tell you why I say it's natural. In Africa, we talk about the lion, and we should be talking about the lioness. Who has ever seen a lion going to hunt? The lioness is going to hunt, and the male will come and eat. When we look at the elephant, we talk of the matriarch. So whatever is happening here is quite natural, and I applaud all the women who are venturing into business, into entrepreneurship. You will be successful, and I'm really, really proud to be associated, especially with the panelists here. About Africa Welfare Association, why should you care about it, and what is the difference? We do have quite a number of what we call benevolent funds in the US especially. But in the context of Africa welfare, we're talking about the African person who is not in their home country. So they could be in China, Australia, Russia, wherever they are. We all face the same problem, whether you're Kenyan, Ugandan, Nigerian. When you pass on, it requires that we fundraise. It's up to maybe 12, 15,000, to take back somebody home. And that cost has been with us. It's not going to go away. Now, we are having to fundraise a lot more because our population has continued to increase. Recently, I met a doctor from Kenya who asked me, why are you encouraging people to go back home? It's a waste of money. I think this is a very emotive topic. It's very personal. We are there to assist those who want to be taken back home to be laid to rest. It has meaning to them. It might not have meaning to somebody else, but I think we have to honor our departed. If somebody wants to be taken home, Africa Welfare Association is a vehicle to be part of. Our membership is really, really low in terms of the dollar. I think for about $90, you're covered for 1 year, and we will pay for everything from the funeral home. We don't want people to rely on GoFundMe. We don't want people to deplete their savings or borrow money or whatever they have to do. We actually just want the family not to worry about the financial part. We'll work with the family, we'll work with the embassies, we'll book the airlines, and we will take somebody up to their final resting place. Our membership has continued to grow, and we'll be offering a discount through this program later on.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Lawrence. And I think I think later on maybe we might have another segment so that you can come on and talk about this, because there's so many of these kind of organizations. And I think that has always come up is, yes, we want to make sure that people get the best send off, but also we need to make sure that they live a good life, and that's part of what the four of you are trying to do. So sticking with you for a moment, Lawrence, again, I think that part of what you understand that One Voice Consortium's goal is really to bring all Kenyans together. Whether it's professionals, businesses want to come together for the prime goal of us growing socially, economically, and subsequently politically. From your hand, as an executive director of the African Welfare Association, how do you feel, how do you see your organization helping really unite the Kenyans or the African diasporans towards a common end?
Thank you again, Dr. I think the Africa Welfare is playing small part in bringing together the African community, in that we're tackling a problem that we all face. When somebody passes on, there's no Tanzanian style or Ethiopian style, it's an end, and we all honor our departed. And when we talk to different communities, that is something that we are able to understand each other fairly well, because we have to solve that problem. In the larger context of the One Voice, recently, I think you had a very interesting guest, Dr. Rikana Chihumburi, and she tells us that what holds us back is that we're still shackled. We're still kind of having that colonial mentality. When we try to do things, we try and pull each other down for whatever reason. I think that is something that we need to address and not run away from. We need to tackle it and understand how can we emancipate ourselves from, that shackle. It's been with us, and we can't just ignore it. If we were, as One Voice intends us to be, a united front, we could be, and we will be the wealthiest in the African continent. We have everything. Look at places like Congo. We have all the minerals. Congo can feed, all of Africa. They're exporting power and all that. Just look at what we have in Africa. But because of that lack of unity, which ends up being actually being seen even in the diaspora, we can do great things, but we have to understand these shackles. How do we get out of them?
Okay. Well said. Thank you, Lawrence, for that contribution. I want to bring in Lucy, if you call Dr. Lucy. Dr. Lucy, I want to bring you in as well. You're doing extremely good. I think Ralph is doing exceptional. Sorry, that's Lawrence, good in the social aspect of it, and two of you are doing good from an economic standpoint. If you could as well, towards what we're trying to achieve here under One Voice Consortium, how do you see yourselves as an organization helping us achieve those objectives?
Thank you so much, Dr. And to add on to what Lawrence has said, yes, we do have to liberate our mindsets. And in Kenyans, we have demonstrated the ability of bringing women from all parts of Kenya together. And that's on an economic front. But I believe we can do so much more when organizations actually collaborate as opposed to compete. competition has driven us to being so individualistic that we fail to become impactful. And I think as diaspora, we have a huge opportunity here that we cannot miss this window of coming together under a one voice. And so the organizations such as the Global One Voice Consortium provides a platform where leaders of different organizations can actually engage and meet deliverables for the greater good. Other things that we must be able to address are, I love what Lawrence and his team are doing, where they have opened it up to the entire African community. For us who are currently just focused on bringing together the Kenyans, I think we must be willing to overcome things such as tribal mindsets. Your product does not have to be good because you bring my product down. So those unhealthy related competitions, I think, are things that if we can be able to address those and be able to liberate ourselves also from the tribal mindset that I cannot join certain organizations because they are led by a certain tribe. If we look at ourselves as Kenyans first, before we look at ourselves based on where we were born, where we didn't really have a choice, I believe as diasporans, we will have a very united and impactful society. And that impact will be felt economically back home, will be able to not only be counted as diaspora, being contributing to the economy just in remittances, but our remittances will actually be tied to projects, and as such, we will have a voice at the table. Even governments will be able to listen to us. Thank you.
Thank you. I like the fact that you say we'll be on the table. I think this has been repeated many times, that if you're not on the table, then you're on the moon. Others are arguing, well, if you're not on the table, then you're under the table. And I think that's work on very hard, because we can create a tape of our own. That's why we here at KDRTV said, we don't have a platform on CNN or these other local journals. What we do then, we need to create a platform like this where people like you and many others can come on, and then we share thoughts and ideas around what really is happening within us. So thank you for that contribution. Let me bring in Raphael. You've been fairly quiet, right? Let me bring you in as well. How do you see yourself and the organization helping towards bringing Kenyans and African diasporans together so that together we can grow?
Thank you, Dr. Harry. My two eloquent speakers before me could not have said it better. I support what they've actually said. And yes, there's a power in all of us getting together. And then let me go back to what Dr. Lucy said initially. This is the first forum that I am sharing with Kenyans at this level. It is so profound that we have found ourselves on this platform, Dr. Okari. Please just know this is huge, just in case you're not aware. And my message to everybody else below that is to know that we are one. We are all brothers and sisters. We are all geared towards uplifting each other economically, both here and in Kenya. So the agenda is one. The only thing is that we are the big brother because you've been in existence for almost 10 years now. And we have both men and women who are just so profound in what they do. But on the larger context, the one diaspora voice is the item, is the tool that we were missing, because we have been able to bring in leadership from all organizations that can actually make it easy for us to propel and ensure that our economic or even political agenda is met with ease. I can assure all of the leaders in the One Voice Consortium that we have the numbers. Between us and probably Kenyans, you're talking about 5,000 Kenyans plus, maybe, who are already in the park. So what we need to do is identify those products and services that our larger Kenyans, or Africans for that matter, who can be a part of this conversation, including Mr. Moraes, we include them in here and form a block that will have a very powerful voice and an avenue to be able to source for things that we can actually do on our own without a lot of hindrances from institutions that are a problem when it comes to funding some of the things that we want to get involved in. For example, the diaspora bond being one of them. We have been singing about that for the longest of times. This is something we can all do together within the organizations we represent, the institutions that are Kenyan, and probably all the Kenyans who are living throughout the globe. And we go to Kenya and we check out those foreigners who are coming in there to make our economy. It can be done. And I believe, with what we have in place, it's just a matter of when. It's coming. So we are on it. Thank you, Dr. Okari, for even the platform that you do have, where we can actually come in and say, you know what, we have a voice now. We might not have CNN, but we have you. And the larger community is beginning to see where the voice is, where you can actually come and start making our contributions known. And asking our people to be a part of what we are doing, because some of us, for example, I've been in the cycle business for almost 30 years now. I want to morph into other things. So we need the younger people to come in and take over and be a part of and improve on and make us so much on top of the technological advancements that are actually going on, so that we make it easy for whatever we are trying to do. So I think on the right course. This is a good platform, and what we have done through the One Voice Consortium is phenomenal. I didn't think it would happen, but look at where we are now. Thank you.
Ralph, I want to clear that. You said you've been in the business for 30 years. You look 29 to me. I don't know what the other did.
I started when I was very young.
Marianne, you might help us here. I really don't think it's that, it's 29 to me. But Marianne, I know Rosie has done her job trying to tell Kenyans and friends of Kenya why it's important for us to work together. You might want to add on the same, but at the same time, you want to pass a message to our people, really. I think we've gone through all these difficult times. There comes a time in human history when you say enough is enough. We cannot continue talking about the negatives. So we really need to switch our minds so that we start thinking positively. So as you add on to what Dr. Lucy was saying, also take a chance here to pass a message to our audience.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. As we've talked about here about empowerment and economic leverages and all of that. But one of the most important things is the fact that if you can't own something, if you don't have anything to your name, you don't feel empowered. So through KNADS PLC, that, where we are creating wealth by providing our shareholders opportunities for themselves and for generations, comes empowerment. And with empowerment, you get a voice that you can actually project and other people will hear you. The ownership is empowering, and the empowerment gives them the courage to have a voice in all sectors, legal, social, and many others. They also get a voice to speak for others in lesser situations. A lot of our shareholders and even some of the members of the organizations that we are presented here are philanthropists as well. So through their empowerment, they're helping to empower others, who are less fortunate. Now, engaging with the leaders in the One Voice Consortium in a collaborative form brings together a win-win for all of us. Every single member of the organizations that is presented by the One Voice gets that win-win opportunity. Unifying us under one voice, it gives us that loud voice that it will be heard and recognized by governments and powers that be, opening doors for opportunities that we cannot achieve individually. Collective participation in the One Voice Consortium gives us the power to collective bargain for products and services, such as availing insurance services for all Kenyans in diaspora. We are in conversation as a One Voice Consortium with insurance companies that will help Kenyans and also other Africans, immigrants in other parts of the world, but mostly for the United States, where we are talking with insurance companies to actually provide life insurance to members of the One Voice Consortium. We are in the final processes where we'll be able to offer through one of the insurance companies accident, it's, I'm trying to think of the proper word, but it will bring together that opportunity for our members to enjoy the benefits of being insured without going through their employer. But this is because collectively, under one voice, we are now starting to have that voice. Any of the vendors can come in and see we are not only representing 10, 20, 30 people, 40 people, we are a representative of thousands and thousands and thousands of immigrants communities in the United States and in other parts of the world, and therefore to their benefit they'll be, they can provide these services to us. So this is a deliverable that we are in the final phase of negotiations, and we'll be introducing it very soon to all members of the consortium. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Marianne. Thank you for the contribution. Again, I understand we're running out of time. This is the beginning of many more conversations to come, so we'll make sure that we create enough airtime for you when you come back later on. So, Lawrence, let me bring you on again on the topic you're talking about. I think yours is more emotive, if you will. There are people, of course, across the country, and particularly during this difficult time, who worry about it. But also, as we do so, also recognize that there are people back home who care so deeply about what's happening here, or if anybody really passes on, they want to be part of their last journey. So what do you have to say as a final word to your members and the other friends of the One Voice Consortium?
I think we need to stop being afraid of talking about the end. It's going to happen. I know as human beings, we are not well equipped to deal with the end. But if you look at the paradigm of life, once somebody is born, we celebrate. They go to school, graduate, we celebrate, and all that. So the end is very emotive and difficult to deal with because of the finality. But it will happen to all of us. So the Africa welfare is there to make it less painful financially. So somebody should not be grieving and also wondering, how am I going to pay for this? We cannot postpone funerals. We cannot say, let's do it another time and all. So we're here to help people meet that expensive part of taking their loved one back home. Now, if I may add on, I did see a question come about if somebody was to be laid to rest in the resident country, we will pay for that as well. So if somebody wants to be laid to rest in the US or Australia, we will pay for that as well. As long as you're part of the African diaspora, we're here for you. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you, Lawrence. Again, I cannot guarantee that I think each one of you for your organization will try to create airtime for your individual organizations later so that you can share what you do in details. I think this is just an introductory part of it. So, Ralph, I want the same question to you, if you don't mind, please.
Let me be a little bit more exact as to my organization. Just highlight one or two things. Our organization, why people should look at it closely, is because we've been proven to provide certain services that many others have not been able to provide. For example, when you're talking about investments, we normally pay interest and dividend payments. When you look at our total assets, the past 3 years, they've grown by more than the 10 leading SACCOs in Kenya, by margins of more than 32% in deposits, in assets, and in loans. When you look at, when you compare the top SACCOs in Kenya, our asset base is a lot better. When you look at the deposit growth rates of ours compared to the top 15 SACCOs in Kenya, we rank among the top 10. So there's a good thing that has been done here by the Kenya USA Diaspora SACCO. The thing is, we are open to serve a lot more of our members in many, many parameters and many, many investment products that are actually going to come. 2020 was a difficult year because most of the programs that you were actually highlighting they could not come to pass because of the COVID. But 2021, I think we're going to have some interesting conversations in the diaspora, and we're not going to do this by ourselves. I'm sure we're going to have a panel with my sisters and even Dr. Moriah here, my friend Lawrence, and others to make this conversation a lot more conducive to all of us. All we ask is, like Dr. Lucy said, Don't look at us tribally. Look at us as institutions that have grown here, that are making a big difference in Kenya. We have made a big difference, whether we appreciate it or not. And that's why some of us don't even get into the negatives, because we'll talk about negatives until when? There is something good that is happening in the diaspora. There's very good work that we are doing. And thank you for this platform. We will do even better. Thank you.
Now I think you're 35. Easy to deal with. Thank you. Listen, I know you have an opinion, but I'm sure you're going to keep it to yourself for the time being about Raf and Mariah, but that will be for later. What message do you have as a closing? And I think the panelists are making a very good point. I think where we are right now, and Dr. Shuri will come on momentarily, and we're passing a very strong message to Kenyans in the diaspora. I think those times when we talk about tribalism, that should be ended, really. It's a matter of history. We need to now pull together so that we can contribute to our growth here and also contribute to our homeland. Lucy, what message do you have to our audience?
So much again, Dr. Onkari, for this platform and for even inviting me with this esteemed panelist. Anybody out there who is looking at starting any organization and or even solidifying what you already are in the process of creating, there are 5 things towards success, and that includes self-discipline. It also includes sacrifice, and sacrifice that is unpaid time and resources. You have to risk the potential of being publicly humiliated and still wake up the next day and championing what it is that you are doing. You also have to risk the idea that you could fail, but you need to be able to get up and dust yourself off and keep going. But most of all, you are going to probably be misunderstood by a lot of people because they don't see your vision and they don't see where you're heading. But as a person who believes in what you're doing, I call upon you to continue to pursue that which you have set your mind towards. I am so proud to be a sister to KUDS and to all the other diaspora circles that are in formation or are in the stages of that are already in existence or are in the stages of formation. We have a huge diaspora. The census is about 3 million diasporans. Very few circles can be able to hold all 3 million. So we are not in competition. We are here to provide a service to all diaspora, whether you would choose to go with Kenya USA Diaspora Circle or you choose to go with KNADS. Our job is to provide the best service for you and provide you with the investment opportunities that will create generational wealth. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, guys. I think that's excellent. We do have a lot of questions coming on the comment section, and we appreciate that for our viewers. Please, thank you for doing that. And again, acknowledge those comments and questions. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time. We have a show coming up momentarily. What we can do, we'll put those questions together and then be sure to bring back the panelists, respectful for their individual organizations, so that you can respond to our audience, if you don't mind, as we bring in Dr. Robert Shuri. I think Dr. Robert Shuri is standing by in a moment. So in closing, as we close, let me begin here. Do we have Dr. Shuri here in a moment, please? So, okay, if not, technical part. Okay, here is Dr. Shuri. Before we make a closing statement, what do you have for 1 quick minute, please?
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Okari, for such a wonderful presentation here under KDRTV and One Voice Consortium. Thank you, the panelists, Dr. Lucy Mackenzie and Marianne Gatz and Lawrence Mariah, and of course, our brother Raf Kilondu. We are all in One Voice Consortium, and we are proud of what you are doing in your own organization as we come together in this journey of One Voice. We are proud of the activities that are undertaken by these member organizations. In fact, not just on the economic sector, we are also happy for our organizations that are in the social sector, in the governance sector, in the health sector, in the technological sector, in the legal sector. In fact, all those other sectors, we are bringing them together under one voice so that we can all be able to move on together. In fact, this team that is here, they don't know yet, but I'm meeting Dr. Arikana Chihombori tomorrow, because she has challenged us to come together and do an Africa Diaspora Development Bank. And so Kilondu, Marianne, Lucy, and Lawrence, you are going to be part of that. Imagine that now. We are going to have an African Diaspora Development Bank, because she has said that is what she wants us to form. And she has challenged One Voice to be on that panel of that movement. So again, this is a little surprising, maybe surprising for you, but we have some work for you ahead to not just unite Kenyans, but now we are even uniting Africans, the whole African continent. So let's do this. We are on this together. And even KDRTV, we are thankful for this platform, because again, even based on the numbers that we had last week, we have been able to reach over 2 million of our diasporan people out there through the world. So what we are speaking now is reaching out to even much, much more people. So we are in this together. Thank you so much for your eloquence in the articulation of the work you do in your organizations. We are very, very proud of what you do. And as we move on, let's get this together. We know there are those that may not be have not yet embraced what we are doing, but I'm sure with the time they will be seeing that we are not just talking, but we are more of talking and doing, and we have things on the ground that we are working on. So thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Opachuri, and by the way, many thanks to you and the entire team at One Voice Consortium. You guys are doing a fantastic job. You have our support as we do so. And also just remind our viewers, what you are seeing on the screen, there is a message there. What we are trying to send a message is that this is a representation, really. When you look at it, we're coming from different quote-unquote tribes, different parts of the country, different organizations, different professionals. This is exactly what we really need to do. That's the message we're sending under One Voice Consortium. So I think the audience does get the message, and this is the beginning of many more to come. So as we finish and welcome another show momentarily, let's have a closing. I know we're heading towards Christmas, and I'm sure you want to pass a message to our audience. And I want to start with you, Dr. Lucy, if you don't mind starting here, your closing statement as you pass your greetings to the audience.
Thank you so much, Dr. Onkari. Thank you so much, Dr. Shuri, for allowing us this platform today. I want to wish all our KNADS members, as well as friends of KNADS, and all those who are watching us, a very Merry Christmas and an amazing 2021. Thank you so much again, and it was an honor sharing a platform with the panelists.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Lucy. We'll love to have you back again. Let's go to Raf, if you don't mind, please.
Dr. Okari, and of course, Dr. Shuri for this platform. I want to send my heartfelt regards and thoughts to all the members of the Kenya-USA Diaspora Circle, wherever they are. We have them all over the world. COVID has messed us up a little bit, but we are on course to deliver. A lot of things are coming up in the new year, but for now we are talking about the holidays, Christmas. On behalf of the chairman of the Kenya-USA Diaspora Circle, on behalf of the executive committee of which I represent, on behalf of the board and the staff who are domiciled in Nairobi, we want to thank you all and wish you a very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and all our friends and partners, and of course, our members here, our friends here, our sister organizations. We are happy to be here. Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thanks, Raf. Thanks for your wonderful contribution. I'm sure we're going to have more of you in future engagements. Now, Lawrence, please.
Thank you, Dr. From the Africa Welfare Association, we do want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year. We're going to get through this, but before we do, make these guys your friends, a mask, sanitizer, or wash your hands. We're going to get through this, and I have to also thank Dr. Okari for this wonderful platform. It's a pleasure to be here under the One Voice Consortium, and we can do this.
Yeah. Thank you, Lawrence. I'm sure again we'll be having many times with you. And I think the best person to close this segment for us today, Marianne, if you don't, please.
Well, my last words are not really last words, they are beginning of a new year. And I want to thank you all for giving us this opportunity here. But to the communities and to diaspora, the diaspora communities, I want to say and urge you to be and stay united, to ensure that when we speak, we are heard and listened to, because we will speak as one, especially if we are all united in our various organizations under One Voice Consortium. On behalf of KNUT's PLC leadership, I want to thank all my KNUT's PLC shareholders. We have had a challenging but very, very successful year. It is our first year as KNUT's PLC. Next year will be better and bigger and bring more prosperity to you. And I thank you all, KNUT's PLC members, shareholders, for your support. I want to thank the conveners of this forum, Dr. Okari. Thank you so much, Dr. Shiori. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to present our organizations through this economic forum. Thank you to all viewers, and Merry Christmas and a happy holiday to all, and a happy 2021. May it be even more brighter and beautiful and successful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. I think a better way to finish that, Mary Ann, I'm sure we're going to have many more engagements with you in the future, but also let's extend our appreciation as what I call the unsung hero of all this. Ben Kebwato is a senior engineer, is the man who is working from behind the scenes. It doesn't come on the screen, but I just want to make sure that we acknowledge his wonderful, wonderful job, him and his family, that the people really brought this to the surface. So Ben, again, on behalf of the panelists and many more who are watching this, many thanks to you. So again, thank you for coming on. Thank you, Ralph. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you, Mary Ann. And as always, thank you, Dr. Shuri, for your very able leadership. And for our viewers, thank you for tuning on to the show. We appreciate you on behalf of the entire team here at KDRTV. And obviously, on behalf of our colleagues at One Voice Consortium, we're wishing you nothing but the very best. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. But in the meantime, in the next 5-10 minutes, we're going to have another show here, and that is about COVID-19, particularly within the state of Minnesota. So if you could please stand by for that show. But for now, many thanks to you, and Merry Christmas.